So one of the questions that I wanted to ask you is, I've always thought about financial planning. I haven't visited with a financial planner. And I always was under this impression that you had to have a certain amount of money or, that it costs a lot of money to even be able to talk to someone like you. So can you give us real life tips about who can come to you and how much money they might have to have or what steps they need to take to be prepared for that conversation?
Most people spend more money and time planning their next vacation than they do their life. And there's nothing more important than the financial pillar to hold up your life. Because money doesn't matter, but money is the how you do what matters. So if there's things in your life that you care about that you want to execute on, you should be sitting down with a financial planner in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah. Hi, welcome to the Happy Life Agenda. I'm Dani C, and I'm so excited today because this is my first podcast with a live in-studio guest. We are here with Kaitlyn Laney with My Trek Wealth in Scottsdale, Arizona. She owns a financial planning firm. And so we're going to chat a little bit about that today, but she also has an incredible story and incredible experiences that will help us all live the happy life. So welcome, Kaitlyn. Thanks for being on.
Dani, I love that I get to be your first guest. This is so exciting.
Hey, awesome. I'm so happy you're here. So, in preparing for our chat today, I was kind of looking over your LinkedIn and some of your online stuff. And, you're raised by a single mom. Mm-hmm. You are the breadwinner in your family currently. And you have a kind of different dynamic than a lot of us have, but you have some great words of wisdom that will help, I think, all women. So why don't you kind of take us through your brief history and then where you are now?
Yeah, so I saw my mom really struggle because she never found the right partner to support her. And I always remember thinking, gosh, my mom is such a powerhouse. And if she didn't have to do it all, she could be what she really was put on earth, what she was meant to be. And she always just wanted to be a mom, but she never was able to show up as a full-time mom because she's running this company, she's running this house, she had these husbands that couldn't figure it out, just simple stuff, right? And I just always remember thinking gosh, when my mom finally meets somebody that will support her, she's going to be unstoppable. And I always took that from my own life is, hey, when someday I'm going to run a company, I'm going to be a mom and I'm going to be married and I want a partner that's going to support me in that journey. And my marriage is going to be the number one thing in my life. My marriage is going to be before my kids. My marriage is going to be more important than my house that I live in, more important than the dogs, more important than any business, any career I could ever have, because I know that if I find the right person, we are the two most important ingredients in that recipe and everything else will flow from that. And that's how I've built my life, is I built my life around my marriage. And I'm so grateful that I was able to find this human, not without a lot of work and communication and therapy and working through that. But it's because of what I saw my mom struggle with that it became such an eye-opening, crucial piece for me to really focus on.
Awesome. I love how you were able to pivot your mom's experiences into manifesting something that you want and being able to truly see her, but then making something out of that. That's phenomenal.
And I think that's the key too, especially if you're struggling, how can you turn your pain into purpose? And the people that do well, if you look around, if the people that really rise from the ashes and are those phoenix mentality is the people that are positive, faith-based, not fear-based, and they rally, as women are amazing at this. We just pull up our bootstraps and we roll. And we're great at moms. Moms are really good at doing this. If our kids need something or if our business needs something, we're just going to figure it out. But are we the same? Do we apply that same mentality to our marriage?
Oh, you're
not always, right? Sometimes it's well, he should just know.
Right.
Well, maybe apply the same formula that you use in your career. Or are you just going to think that way about your boss? No, you're going to walk into your boss's office and figure it out, right? And so, if my husband's doing something that's not working, I'm marching into his office and he is going to know about it. And I'm not going to feel bad about it because he needs to know. And so, it's just so interesting when we talk about these things as women. It's, how do we show up authentically and truly, but also fight fair?
Yes, I love that. It's me personally, what you just said, it really resonated with me this year as I'm going through some of these, transitions myself and just thinking about I've worked so hard on my career, worked so hard on being a mom, but my husband, it seems like, gets, the leftovers, and I need to have that same zeal and communication with him. So I love that you're a shining example of that, and just in our conversation, giving some great examples on how to handle that communication. So tell me a little bit about, kind of how you're balancing work and your personal life and making all of the things happen.
I grew up in that kind of lean in Sheryl Sandberg kind of stuff of like, oh, well, you'll figure it out when you get there. Oh, you'll, just lean into your career, lean into your career. And I think that was, for me, such a missed message because there is no such thing as work-life balance, especially when you own your own business. There's a mountain of work at all times. And I think for me, it's harmony. How can I bring in my business and be in harmony with my family? Hey, my son gets home at 3:00. I want to end my day most days, not all days, but most days, let's say 3 out of 5. I want to end at 3. I have no more meetings after 3 most days. And yes, I pick up the computer back at 8:00 at night when they go to bed. And yes, I'm working at night and I'm working on the weekends sometimes. But for the most part, when my son walks in the door, he doesn't see mommy on the phone or mommy on the computer. He sees me. And I'm there to hug him and say, hi, baby, how are you? And so, I think when I think about work-life harmony, it's always coming from a place of kind of that vision board mentality of, hey, what's the vision for your life? What do you want? And how can I make my career, how can I build a career around that? So for me, what I wanted is I wanted dates with my husband, and I wanted to be there when my kids get picked up from school. That was really the primary pieces of it. And it's not perfect, but like last week we needed groceries and stuff, and I never do the grocery shopping. So I have like no idea what eggs cost unless I'm doing a financial plan for somebody, right?
Sure.
And seeing like, oh my God, your grocery bill. But, Max needed to do something and I had a client cancel. So I said, hey, I don't have work for 2 hours. Let's go to the grocery store. So we had a grocery store date. We're holding hands, walking into the grocery store. We get a Starbucks and I got a cake pop. I never do cake pops. And we made a date out of it because I had, from 9 to 11 free and the kids, were taken care of. So, it's kind of one of those things where with harmony, you just have to fit it in when it comes. And if you have the opportunity and you have a dead spot, call your husband, call your person and what's new? What's going on for you? Hey, do you have time to, grab some breakfast and see if you can squeeze it in? But it would just be, figuring out what do you want?
Yeah, I love that. Now, it sounds like you're really good at setting boundaries. How do you juggle when a client is asking for your time or work is asking for your time and you've set that 3:00 deadline? Can you take me through kind of some tips on how to manage that?
Oh gosh, I just this year, so January, right? We're here in January. I have not been great at that. I've been, checking my phone and text messages, but calendar blocking has been really helpful. I block off my calendar at 3 and I block off my calendar in the morning. So I have my mornings with my kids and most afternoons. And then Tuesdays and Thursdays are my long days. So I don't get home until about 6:00 at night, usually on Tuesdays and Thursdays. So I have most of my client meetings on those 2 days. And then Mondays and Fridays are planning days. And then Wednesday is like the catch-all day. So I've been really trying to block off my calendar. So when my assistant, so I have 2 assistants, are filling my calendar, they have very clear instructions around what days they can book what client.
Oh, wow. I love that. Okay. Calendar blocking and then making sure that you protect that time. You have assistants that help you.
Yeah. And everything's on my calendar. So like going to the gym, getting my haircut, my dates with my husband are on so my whole team knows my whole life. And so it's just an open book of it sounds so boring, but yes, you schedule dates in your work calendar, right? And so this Friday, we have a date. Oh. And my husband is added as an attendee. He will show up to our date because I have scheduled it on our calendar. And he knows that he has to find babysitters. Oh, and so, that's, how we've, helped coordinate and managed a lot better. And I'm really trying to make sure that we have a date, at least one date every 2 weeks.
Wonderful. So we kind of talked about your personal life a little bit, but I want to get to the financial planning because when we were, again, talking before the show, you had some really cool tips for, how we can just make some little adjustments in our life, help us save some money and, plan for those big future vacations or just like, having something for our kids to leave behind. So can you take me through some financial planning tips?
Yeah, so there's 2 really great tools that you can use for your kids for saving, or really 3. So there's college accounts that we know of 529s. Okay. And a 529 account, you can get a state tax deduction. So you can shift some money into a college account for them. every single month. You can open it at Fidelity or Schwab. There's a number of different options. And then there's a Roth IRA. And so what you can do is you can create a holding company.
Okay.
As an LLC. So think of it as a basket. You create this basket, and anything in the house that you would normally pay for anyway, like housekeeping or, you name it, you can pay for it, right? And so we pay for gardeners, we pay for cleaning, pool cleaning, we pay for this. And so instead of just giving my kids that money, teach your kids to clean the pool,
allowance.
teach your kids allowance. Instead of giving your kids an allowance, which they would anyway, you can pay the holding company, and then the holding company pays your kid as a 1099. And by the way, if it's under the standard deduction, they don't have to file taxes, but they have income that they can now put into a Roth IRA. So now you have a $10,000 deduction on your taxes that you don't pay for, that you would have given your kids $10,000 a year anyway.
Right.
And then you can put money into their Roth IRA. And the Roth IRA, whatever you put in, you can still get out for them. So if they want to buy a house at 18 and you put in $100,000 over the course of 18 years, they can get that $100,000 out for a down payment, but it grows tax-free and they can still have $1 million in retirement. So the Roth IRA is the most efficient vehicle, in my opinion, to save for your kids' future because it grows tax-free. They have access to it. And, the gains on there, they can save for retirement at 60.
Oh my gosh, that is phenomenal because that's a big one you hear about is just like saving for college.
Yeah, if you can put $7,000 into a Roth IRA every year for your kid for 18 years, they'll have $2 million by the time they're 60, tax-free.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing. So one of the questions that I wanted to ask you is, I've always thought about financial planning. I haven't visited with a financial planner, and I always was under this impression that you had to have a certain amount of money or that it costs a lot of money to even be able to talk to someone like you. So can you give us real life tips about like who can come to you and how much money they might have to have or what steps they need to take to be prepared for that conversation?
So our financial plans start at $2,500 and it's an investment in your future. Most people spend more money and time planning their next vacation than they do their life. And there's nothing more important than the financial pillar to hold up your life because money doesn't matter, but money is the how you do what matters.
Yeah.
So if there's things in your life that you care about that you want to execute on, you should be sitting down with a financial planner in some way, shape, or form right now, whether you have money or not. Okay. And so I think that's the thing is, I need to have all this money to be able to invest, to sit down with a planner. And it's actually the opposite. So financial literacy builds wealth.
Yeah.
Wealth doesn't build financial literacy. There's a reason lottery winners blow it.
That's so true.
And so that's where it's, hey, pay the $2,500, pay the $3,000, invest in having a plan that you can execute on and you can build on from there. But you want a friend before you need one. And so that's where finding and hiring the right person that can grow with you is really, really important.
So now you're based in Scottsdale. Do you have to live in, the same state as your financial planner? Or if you just meet somebody like you, that's awesome. Can I call you from Texas and ask for help?
Yeah, I actually have 3 clients in Texas,
Oh, cool.
Ironically. And gosh, I wish. So this particular client, they thought they needed to retire to hire me.
Oh.
Perfect example, right? And so I sit down, I meet with them. Their 401k has been invested in something that's been earning 3% for 5 years. If they had hired me 5 years ago to reallocate their 401k, I would have made them $150,000 last year.
Oh my God.
Instead, they made $20,000 last year. And so there is no price tag you can pay on. So we can't go back in time, but those are the cases that I'm like, oh my gosh, I wish you had called me 5 years ago because you could retire today and not in 3 years. So thankfully they called me now and we course corrected. But that's, so to answer your question, yes, I can work with anybody across the country. But for those looking to hire a financial advisor, you want to make sure you like them. So that's, I think, the primary caveat there is you want to pick up the phone and talk to them. You want to get along with them, and you need to be able to grow with them.
Awesome. So do you advise like basically interviewing your financial planner or maybe interviewing
absolutely.
a couple of them before you
interview a couple?
Yeah.
It's one of the most important people you will hire.
Yeah.
Right? It's like dating. You're not going to marry the guy on the first date, right? And so, I think, as women, how many questions did you ask your pediatrician before you hired your kid's doctor.
Yeah.
As a mom, we're fierce mama bears. I'm asking a crap load of questions.
It's an hour interview.
Right? Take that mentality to your financial advisor.
Wow. Well, these have been some amazing tips. So now I would like for you to tell everyone where we can reach you, your website, your social handles, so that they can come back and find you and learn more from you.
Yeah, thanks, Dani. So you can reach me at mytruckwealth.com, and you can go into our Scottsdale location and book a complimentary 30-minute conversation with me if you'd like. And we'd be happy to talk with you about what you need and see if we might be the right fit.
Awesome. Well, I am so excited to have Kaitlyn Laney on today. You heard it's My Trek Wealth and Scottsdale, and I'm definitely going to be giving her a call because I learned so much today, and I know we'll be having you on again. Also, make sure you go to happylifeagenda.com because I will be posting Kaitlyn's story there, as well as some of her tips from today and how you can get a hold of her. I look forward to seeing y'all next time, and be sure to subscribe below. Thanks.